Good morning. Good morning. Oh, best Monday yet. I'm in a great mood. I'm hoping everybody else is in a great mood. A great day for Baltimore yesterday. We'll get to the Orioles in a second, but yeah, Ravens dominate, running behind 42 with 22, with number 8 handing it off is really unstoppable. So if we can just keep it simple. I mean, Ricard is blocking people last night, moving guys left and right, moved two guys on one run. Henry's top speed is rivaling these skinny wide receivers that sprint down the field. I think it was 21 miles an hour. Since I was home last night, I could see that stat, like 21 point something miles an hour on that long run to start the game. That was fun. It's always fun when the Ravens play Ravens football. If you've been a fan of the Ravens since they've been here, there's really only one style of football that we enjoy. It's just that's it. That's how we won in 2000, and that's how we like to play. If the offense is rolling, it's a bonus. It's great, but we don't give up. We don't give up leads. We don't let teams run the ball down our throat, and we force turnovers. That's the Ravens football. It's been like that forever. And last night was on full display because we're about to be in a dogfight. It's 21-10. Buffalo's going down the field. And then Van Noy makes a huge play, just an absolute Raven play, force the turnover, and that's it. This time they capitalize. They get up 28-10, and they don't let Buffalo back in. Great game. A lot of fun. Another huge test next week against the Bengals. A completely different matchup, completely different way that the Bengals like to attack than Josh Allen did. Allen, I mean, just didn't look great. But again, if they don't make that turnover, it's 21-10. Buffalo's probably going to go down the field, and then we're in a dogfight. So really, really excited for the Ravens to win that game yesterday. And the way the passing offense is going, I'm glad I didn't add likely as the prop bets. I mean, gosh, I think his number is 26 and a half, and he gets a 26-yard catch in the first drive or first quarter at least. Not first drive because Derrick Henry took that by himself. But yeah, he just doesn't get the ball anymore. Lamar's not throwing. I don't care from a fantasy perspective, or if you're betting props for Ravens receivers, you're probably not jumping up and down about the offense. But if you're just watching it and it's the Ravens, man, I absolutely love the way they're playing. Well, it'd be great if I plugged in the microphone. That might be getting nice and excited, and we don't even have the microphone plugged in. Fantastic. But yeah, great game for the Ravens yesterday. They get the Bengals next week. And yeah, we can. I don't want to pile on so much about the Ravens because people that break down the film, I always love going to them. So, with other teams, I don't have to break down the film as much because I'm not as invested. But with every player on the Ravens, I like to know how they're doing and have a really educated opinion. So I love to watch the breakdown of all the Ravens people to get access to the all 22. So I'll be doing that today and tomorrow and have more of an analysis of what happened besides just watching it yesterday. But yeah, the overall takeaway is I think we have the best running back. I know we have the best fullback, and we definitely have the best running quarterback. So you can just run the football down their throats. You kill the time of possession. You force other teams to play like they're pressed. And this is a really tough matchup to play the Ravens. So great game yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to get to the Orioles. I want to finish with the Orioles. So I'm going to I'm just going to rip through all the games, kind of give my quick little take on it because, as I said last week, if I bet significantly on a game, I'm more, I have to watch that game. I don't have the ability to just casually watch it. So last week it was the Colts. I watched every snap of that Colts Bears game. And then this week it was the Bucs. Very, very proud of myself. I don't usually pat myself on the back, but to have the best game of the board, as the Vikings tried to blow it with the Packers, really made me feel good. The Bucs had dominated. That game went exactly the way I thought it would go, frankly, which is if the Bucs get a lead on the Eagles, they'll abandon the run for no reason. They'll throw the ball on first down, which makes no sense, and they just don't have any weapons. So Bucs smash them. They roll. We'll start with that game, and then I'll kind of go through the rest of them. But yeah, Bucs. I don't know quite if the Bucs can win the Super Bowl after watching last week. I mean, they're really, really good, but I just think the Eagles are poorly managed. And if the Bucs get the lead on you, they're really difficult to play because that Todd Bowles defense, ooh boy, you see what they did to Jaden Daniels in Week 1, and now Jaden Daniels is running around here like the MVP. The Bucs defense, if they get the lead on you, there's very few teams that you'd rather not face than Todd Bowles' defense. He is him in Seattle with McDonald. I mean, wow. The Bucs were sending guys all over the place. They forced turnovers. Eagles had a chance to make it a little interesting at the end, but strip sack there for the Bucs, and they smashed the Eagles. Eagles going to a bye, probably feeling like crap about themselves. They have no direction. Saquon Barkley's amazing, but besides that, just not a lot there for the Eagles. Bucs, they go to Atlanta on a short week, and we'll go to that Atlanta game next because that was a wild game. But yeah, Atlanta, Tampa Bay should be a really good game for Thursday night. Not 100% sold on the Bucs. I want to see them come from behind and play. I want to see them win on the road, although they did beat Detroit on the road. But yeah, great game for the Bucs yesterday. Happy for that. That was my biggest. Oh, I needed that. I needed that. I basically lost all my baseball futures besides the Orioles, so everything was going to have to be cashed out today. And so the Bucs, whew, that saved me. Falcons Saints game went exactly how I thought it would go, except there was 10 more points scored by each team. I thought it'd be like a 16-14, 19-17 game. Instead, it gets a 26-24 because of the defensive touchdown early. Just too many points in that first half. So it did push the game over. Both teams are just not the type of teams that you want to bet on. I mean, just average teams. Maybe the Falcons get better as the year goes on, but their offense just seems like they don't know what they're trying to do. They don't have an identity. And the Saints just, man, they could not close the door. They came all the way back. I thought they were going to be able to get that come from behind win. They came all the way back, just could not. And that's just a bad omen there for them moving forward because they really could be 4-0. So now they're 2-2. They're probably not feeling great about themselves. Might be time to start fading the Saints. Falcons, I'll know a lot more about the Falcons home against Tampa in a short week. They got to win this game on Thursday. They lose this game, and it feels like they're just headed towards an 8-9 win season. Bears Rams, didn't see more than a couple of highlights on this. Really fascinated to watch this game. This was one of the games that I knew I wanted to see. Frankly, how Caleb Williams, Matt Stafford's a great quarterback, so without his receivers, really interesting to see how he operates. And then Caleb Williams, just the progression of it, wanted to see how it played out. Bears hold on. The game went pretty much how I thought it would go as far as the score is concerned. I didn't love taking the Rams there. It was a stay away from me. So I'll watch that game today or tomorrow and dive into that. Bears get the win. Big win for the Bears. Rams, I don't know what they're doing this season. I don't know. They 1-3 now. Tough spot for them. Vikings, I was wrong about that game. The Packers just you spot a team that many points, and that's that. I think if they play again today, Packers win. They play tomorrow, the Packers win. They play next week, the Packers win. I thought it was a bad spot for the Vikings, but if you're going to spot them all those points, it's a different story. I think there was a red flag there for the Vikings, the way they closed the game. At first, it looked like they were trying to give the game away, but then they did have the final drive there, albeit they fumbled, but that game kind of put it away as they made the Packers use the timeouts. Nothing really negative to say about the Vikings here. They're 4-0, and their defense is just getting their hands on all the balls, deflecting balls left and right. Um, Great win for the Vikings. I don't think it says much about the Packers. I think Packers are still finding themselves. Basically, love just getting back from injury. Hindsight's 2020. Maybe they could have just gone with Malik Willis, but either way, Vikings get the win. This was the next game. Dead right about this game. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't make a personal bet of significant money on this with the Broncos because although the Broncos couldn't score, and that was part of my analysis, is that Peyton will get some, big plays here against the Jets, and they'll put pressure on Rodgers. But and that didn't come to fruition. But my other aspect of it, which is I just don't think the Jets are that dynamic on offense. They were so comfortable last week against the Patriots, playing with the lead. And this week, Rodgers just not very good. I think it's over for the Jets as far as they can't win the Super Bowl. I don't think there's, after a few weeks of the year, you start to be like, all right, this team has no chance to win the Super Bowl. You don't want to say that about too many teams because weird things can happen. Like, for example, could the Commanders win the Super Bowl? Sure. Do I think they will? No. But, you get to a point with this Jets team where you're like, how would they win the Super Bowl? Like, and I just don't see it. Rodgers just isn't good enough back there. Really weak that they could not get a field goal. Kind of reminded me of prime Aaron Rodgers, where in the playoffs, it's like you just can't get over the hump in a close spot. Really disappointed if you bet the Jets in the Survivor, you got the money line, or you got them in the teaser. Jets, I said it in my write up. I think the Broncos can be the upset of the day. Take the better coach. They couldn't score, so the weather wasn't great. Made it hard for the Broncos to score, but they got enough. They got enough, and they beat the Jets. The Broncos team is not a team you want to bet against. They might have a couple duds in there where they get blown out, but if that game is close going into the second half, Peyton is too good of a coach. He manages the game too well. Broncos cover. Jets, I think, are a dumpster fire waiting to happen. Really bad loss yesterday. They should have won that game. And Joe Flacco is back. This is part of the reason this was my logic for being so high on the Colts before the season. I don't like betting on teams over their win total or to make the playoffs unless I feel really good about the backup quarterback. In Seattle, I felt good about the backup quarterback because Sam Howell's not bad, plus the institution of Mike McDonald's defense. And with the Colts, it was Shane Steichen, Shane Steichen, Shane Steichen. And who's their backup quarterback? All right, if Richardson gets hurt, is it Minshew? No. Is it who is it? Peyton Manning? No, it's Joe effing Flacco. And here he is beating the Steelers on a Sunday afternoon. Like it's the mid 2000s. Great game for the Colts. I don't know if they're better off with Flacco. They were better off yesterday with him. Actually, probably better off even going into that game because Anthony Richardson's a turnover waiting to happen, just does too many silly things. And that's the one thing you don't do against Pittsburgh. Flacco protects the ball. Colts win. Great for my bets because they're now 2-2. Great for the Ravens because now the Steelers are 3-1. That was probably the most satisfying game outside of the Bucs and Commanders yesterday. So great game for the Colts. Didn't see too much of it. Looking forward to watching Flacco. And here we go, Joe Flacco again, just trucking away. Bengals Panthers. I said it was a gut feel there. The gut was not right there as far as this would be a defensive game. Instead, is it the highest scoring game of the day? It's up there. It's too many freaking points. Bengals, Panthers. Um, got it wrong. Didn't see much of it. It wasn't a game that I was really watching. Didn't love it. When I look back on these plays, obviously, when I win the Commanders game, the Broncos, and it's like, oh, I should have just done those three games. I mean, that's always easy to say, but frustrating that put that under in there where I was like proud of myself for not betting the under on team total for the Bengals because I've been doing that every week. And I'm like, you know what? There's a chance that they just score 31, 34. But if they do that, they'll just blow out the Panthers. It won't be close. And instead, Panthers scored enough points. Bengals defense can't get right. So that went the wrong way. Um, Bengals, Ravens, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Can't wait for that game. That should be a great game. Jaguars, Texans played out the way I said it was going to play out, which is, be a close game. Don't bet the Texans. If you're going to take them, take the money line. Don't bet against Stroud. All those things is pretty much the way it played out. It was a competitive game. Saw some of the highlights there in the fourth quarter. Jags just don't know how to win football games. They'll just bring in a new coach and they'll start over. They'll probably be good next year, but they're not going to be good this year. They're just one of those teams that can't finish. When they lost to Cleveland in week 2, that was probably a sign that it was over. So they lose again. Now they're 0-4. They'll probably look to trade some of their veteran players here in the next few weeks. They're done. Jaguars are done. They're the only 0-4 team left besides the Titans. So I don't know how many people had that in their bingo card, but yeah, down go the Jags. And you got to give Texans credit. They're winning and not playing well. So that's what a championship team does. They find ways to win. Texans win. Speaking of championship teams finding ways to win, yep, don't bet against Mahomes. Just do yourself a favor. It's just not worth it. I said it yesterday. Life's too short. Do something else because I don't know why this keeps happening, but it's not going to change. We lived through it with Tom Brady, and now we're living through it again, which is the Chiefs are going to win. Just don't know how or what's going to happen. Somehow, some way, they're going to win, and they do it again yesterday. They're down 10-0. There must be something. I mean, there just has to be something inside his body that like Mahomes where he prefers to be down 10-0. It reminds me of like when you're playing a video game on super hard and like because it's just too easy for you any other way and it's like the only way you can get a challenge, but like that's just not real life where you purposely stress yourself out just to overcome it. But that's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They just get down by 10 points and here we go. The most money, if you would just blindly be betting the Chiefs money line when they get down by 10 points since the Mahomes era, you'd be a gazillionaire. It's unbelievable. It really is. I mean, and I never do it. Excuse me, because I hate jumping on a bandwagon or a trend. It's like, all right, now will be the time. But yesterday I was sitting there. I was like, I'm not even watching this Chiefs Chargers game. I got the Commanders game on. I see they're down 10-0 and I pull up the odds. I'm just like, I should do it. I should do it. I should do it. And I just didn't do it. And there they go. Come back and win. Niners Patriots played out. I mean, unless you wanted to just be a contrarian yesterday and say the Patriots were going to keep it close, I think it was fairly obvious that that would be a 7 to 21 point game, one way or the other. Excuse me. But Niners dominated them. Niners still don't look great. They win 30-13. Didn't see much of it, but It was closer than it should have been for most of the game. Niners aren't getting touchdowns; they're getting too many field goals. But again, it's hard to judge the Niners on 4 games here. They're playing for bigger stuff, so they're just trying to get wins and keep it moving. I don't think they're overly concerned with how great they look. They're banged up. They get the win. Raiders Browns. Um, Raiders Browns. What do we even want to talk about the Raiders and the Browns? What do we even want to talk about? That both teams are terrible, both coaches. Maybe Stefanski isn't terrible, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's his fault or not. But this Browns offense would run so much more efficiently if they ran a completely like if they just played a conservative style of offense instead of letting Watson do these deep dropbacks. They get so many penalties. The Browns are what a miserable team, miserable franchise. Raiders win somehow, some way. The Raiders are 2-2, and that's that. I don't have much else to say. I didn't see much of that game. Oh, excuse me. I feel like something's been stuck in my throat all morning. All right. So now the game. I am losing words here to describe Jaden Daniels and what happened with the Commanders because, from a personal level, I am so grateful to him because he completely bailed me out of these bets. I had the Commanders on Monday night, then I put them in the parlay with the Bucs on the money line as my way to get all my baseball bets back. And Jaden Daniels delivers yesterday. I was thinking about hedging it at halftime. Cardinals were favored by 3.5, and the Commanders are up by 10 and they're getting the ball first. And I'm like, let me just hedge it just in case. But I'm like, what if he just goes down the field and it's 24-7? And sure enough, I've outside of some of the biggest bets I've ever won, the 2 games I've had the most fun recently that I can remember is betting on Jaden Daniels in this Commanders offense. Like being ahead of the curve on the Commanders feels really good because this offense is rolling. They are impossible. Every 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 just feels like it's automatic. Jaden Daniels is like Lamar Jackson during his MVP year, as far as not being pressured, not being rattled when the pressure comes, complete control, knows exactly what he wants to do on every play. He is, oh my God. They get the Browns this week at home. I mean, they're going to be 4-1. I can't wait to see what that number is. I'm going to, actually, I don't know why I can't wait. May as well just look at it now. But I feel like I'm going to love the Commanders again. I don't want to give 3 points. Is that what, if they're going to make me do that? Because I just don't like doing that in general. But money line, let me see real quick while we're doing this. Commanders. I mean, the Browns are just a pathetic team. They really are. And the game's in Washington. It's 3.5 right now is the opening line. See where that ends up coming down to. If it gets down, it's minus 180 right now. If I can get it minus 150, 160, I'd rather just do that. I love this Commanders team. They dominate the Cardinals. And the scary part for the Commanders is they did it defensively. Jaden Daniels was pretty good in the first half, but he threw an interception, and they only had they only had 17 points. But it was the Commanders' defense that was just a hell of a lot better than they were against the Bengals. Bengals scored 34 this week, so maybe that was more of a reflection on the Bengals' offense, not the Commanders' defense. Great win, great day yesterday. I know it's 3-3 in the bets, but because the Bucs won, that was huge for me. So we got Seahawks Lions tonight. I refuse to talk about Titans Dolphins outside of Snoop Huntley's playing and Will Levis is playing. So oh boy, if you're going to bet on Will Levis, God bless you. I'm not going to watch the game. I'll be focused on the Seahawks and the Lions. This Titans Dolphins game feels like a nightmare of a game to even watch. Just feels like an ugly game. Hopefully, Snoop for the Dolphins plays well. But yeah, Seahawks Lions tonight should be a lot of fun. I like the Seahawks. I really like the Seahawks. I know it's a big test for them. They're going on the road, but they have a bye week the following week. The Seahawks do, which I like teams going into the bye week for the most part, depending on the situation. I'm going to take the points tonight. I don't know if I'll end up pulling the trigger on the money line, but unless something changes here in the next few hours, I do like Seattle. And I know I'm biased going into the season, but I still think they're undervalued. The Lions may be able to win 30-29, 27-26, 27-24, but I'll take the 4 points for sure. And all right, let's do the Orioles. Oh my God, that was another reason why I'm in a great mood. Oh man, I was like, they have to win. It's going to sour my entire fandom for this playoffs if I lose this future bet. I mean, 2 future bets. each for $1,000, over 90.5 wins, and for them to win the division. So lost the division, so basically can just break even. Then I have a couple future bets for them to win the AL East, or excuse me, to win the AL pennant and the World Series. And I was like, if they lose tomorrow, I know myself. I'm not going to enjoy Tuesday and Wednesday. I just know it. And I was like, should I hedge it? I don't want to hedge it. Now it's 2-0. And McCann bombs one 3-run homer. And then Westberg does. So McCann, obviously, MVP with that 3-run homer yesterday. But Westberg gets the hit that we've been missing, it feels like, for the past couple months, which is we're up by a run. It's 3-2. It's the seventh inning. We just need some insurance runs. You can't keep putting that kind of pressure on the bullpen. Westberg delivers. It's 5-2. Kerstead says, let's just make sure we have one more. 6-2. And that's it. Orioles win. They get to 91 wins. And now we get to get ready for the Yankees on Saturday, as we will smash here the Royals these first two games. There's no way that this season played out for us to come in here and not beat Kansas City. I am so excited for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then New York is on Saturday, so you get plenty of time to relax and rest and get ready for that series. Game one Saturday, and game two is Monday. They don't even play Sunday, so we get a chance to have the off day to watch the Ravens. Everything is shaping up for a hell of a week. It's not a foregone conclusion that they beat the Royals, but I do like the matchup for sure. I think it's better than getting the Tigers. We haven't played the Royals since early in the season. They're going to have Ragans and Reagans, whatever, and Lugo as 1 and 2, but they got to come to Baltimore to pitch. That's number one. It's not in Kansas City. And Pasquantino, whatever his name is, their third best player, may or may not come back, but he's banged up. And the Royals are not very dynamic. They got Bobby Witt, they got Perez, the catcher, but they're not very dynamic after that. We're a better team, we're a better roster, and we still have Corbin and Eflin going 1 and 2, which to me is just as good as what they got. So the only way you're beating the Orioles is if you're pouncing on us early and you're making us play down 3-0, and then we press. I don't see that happening these two games. I think the crowd will be super into it. And frankly, Burns is going to get to start Saturday. As long as we win this game on Tuesday, everything sets up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, no, he'll pitch game two on Monday. So they'll let Burns probably pitch game one here. Let Eflin pitch game two. We'll win the first two games. Let Kramer throw game one on Saturday. And then I'm assuming we'll see, but I'm assuming they let Big Al get the fourth start, and Povich is that long reliever. And just something about, pitching in the postseason with Povich, versus Suarez, the chemical makeup of it, the maturity. I'd rather just go with Big Al. I know you like to have the lefty in there, but yeah, I don't think you take the chance. I think that to start the game, you go with the veteran. You don't let Povich go out there and have to have those kind of jitters in the first couple of innings. Big Al's been through grown man stuff, right? Had to leave the country to play, so it's a different type of energy. I think he gets the fourth spot, and Povich is there if you need him. And man, it should be a ton of fun. I think when I look at what the lineup should be or what the roster should be, and I break it down, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think he can do a wrong decision, Hyde and Elias. I think there's going to be a couple things where you can be like, all right, I might have done this or I might have done that, but the team is really good. Holiday will be on the bench and McCann will be on the bench. Will they let McCann catch any of these games in the postseason? Potentially. Potentially. I think there is a chance, but he's not going to start game one or two of this series. I think he would potentially be in there for game three because it'd be a back-to-back. But I think Adley gets the catcher spot, and they're going to let O'Hearn be the DH, and Mountcastle will play first, and Kerstead will be the odd guy out. That would be my gut. And then Kerstead, Holiday, McCann, and Slater will be the four guys on the bench, with the options for Holiday and Kerstead to pinch hit later in the game. That's what I see playing out. And Mountcastle gets first base, and O'Hearn gets the DH spot. Mullins goes to center, and Cowser goes to left. So I think that's where we'll end up. As far as what the lineup will be, I think that's it's just off the top of my head because I didn't write it down, but I think Santerre will be third, and they'll move Rutschman down in there, and I think they'll stick O'Hearn fourth. maybe Cows. Maybe they do Cows before that. I really don't know. I think it's be Gunner, Westberg, and Santander is the first three, and I think Mullins will be at the bottom. Him and Arias will be 8 and 9. So I can see Mullins being 8 and Arias being 9, and then 4 through 7. Kind of pick what you would like to do with Adley, Cowser, O'Hearn, and Mountcastle. I don't know if it really matters, but I think the best three hitters are fairly obvious right now, which is Gunner, Westberg, and Santander. It's the perfect 1, 2, 3. Gunner leads off. He's the best player. Westberg takes the best at bats, and Santander is the best home run hitter. 4 through 7 are interchangeable. O'Hearn, Mountcastle, Kerstead, Adley. Um, kind of pick who you want to put in there. And then Mullins and Arias, the defensive spots. I love the team. Is the pitching enough? I guess we shall find out, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. And if you go around the league, there's no Mariano Rivera. The Guardians probably have the best closer, but the Yankees are struggling. The Royals bullpen is eh. So yeah, I'll take my chances. There's no Craig Kimbrell. So it's just up for grabs. Will Coolum? My gut tells me that Coolum gets the highest leverage spot in the ninth inning, but it's going to be a mix and match thing. They shall figure it out, and we shall enjoy it. So if you're going to the game, have fun. Perfect timing too. 4 o'clock for the games. Couldn't ask for a better time for Tuesday and for Thursday. They're off on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same time for each of the games. We just shouldn't have a game on Thursday, hopefully. That way, we're ready to go for the Yankees on Saturday. Quick programming note. That's kind of silly that I said that. But anyway, Mets are playing the Braves in a doubleheader today. So if you're looking for afternoon baseball to watch, completely fascinating. And I'd love to know these conversations. So Diamondbacks. All right, let me say it like this. Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves, 3 teams fighting for 2 spots. If the Mets and the Braves just split today, they play a doubleheader, then they both make it. If one of them sweeps, the Diamondbacks get in. So you would think the coach in me would make a friendly call here if I'm the Mets to the Braves or Braves to the Mets and say, all right, which game would you like to win? Which game can we win? But I think both teams would rather go to Milwaukee than San Diego. So there's probably incentive there because if one team wins both games today, the higher seed gets to go to Milwaukee instead of having to go all the way to San Diego. Or no, I'm sorry, it's the other way. So you might rather lose, so you go to Milwaukee. There's a lot of moving parts here. If you're the Mets, do you want to go back to Milwaukee where you just were? Do you want to go all the way to San Diego? If you're the Braves, kind of the same thing. And if you're the Diamondbacks, you don't even know what to do. You just need them to split somehow. So you have no rooting interest in the first game. I need the Mets to win one of the 2 games. I lost every future bet this year except the Orioles to get the over for 90, and then the Mets. I had the Giants to make the playoffs. I had the under with the Phillies. That just did not work out. So I got the Mets to make the playoffs, but I got really good odds. It was 1,000 to win 1,700. So they just need to split today. I'll look forward to watching that. Jay Mart will be with me in the morning. I'm going to talk all college football, Georgia, Alabama. Thank God I stayed away from Colorado this week when they're underdogs. Then Deion's bullshit stuff works. It's when they're favorites, they get overconfident. So a lot to talk about. And I think that's about it for today. So I'll get out of here. Hope you guys had a great day. Definitely a great day yesterday for Baltimore. Getting back on track. And looking forward to a big week. If you need me for whatever reason, just get in touch. And if I forgot something, I forgot something. I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care.